is early and cold, which are my two favorite things. But I am excited because I'm heading to campus for a trip to Saqqara. Going with two of my best friends here in Egypt. Ethan loves Egyptology and knows a lot more than I do. Alex loves it and knows a lot less than I do, so we always get to teach and learn from each other, which is exciting. I cannot wait. We're going with my Egyptology professor. I don't know what we'll see or what we'll do, but I know that it'll be good. Can't wait to show it to you guys. Much love.
From the moment that I got to Egypt, I told Brandon that one of the most important things for me, one of the things I was most excited about, was getting to see the Step Pyramid of Djoser. Not many people are interested in it. Most people, when they think about pharaonic history, it's the Great Pyramids and then khalas, done. But Brandon, being the amazing human being that he is, was also very, very excited. And so eventually he came to me saying, oh, my Egyptology class is going to take a field trip to Saqqara. And he asked me if I wanted to go. And I was like, oh my God, yes, I do. If you're standing at the Giza Pyramid Plateau on a clear day and you look to your south, you'll see 3 pyramids on the horizon. The further away of the 3 are the Dar Shore pyramids built by the pharaoh Seneferu. But the closest is Saqqara. Saqqara is the first stone pyramid built in history, built by Pharaoh Necropolis. In the Saqqara funerary complex, there are a plethora of different tombs and burial sites from different pharaohs and administrative officials across Egyptian history. One of the first things we did was we walked through the causeway of Unis, which was the path that led from Pharaoh Unis's valley temple, where his body would have come in on the Nile, up to his pyramid. And so it was amazing because you could see the paint and still on the ceiling of this causeway. You could see the stars that were being painted on the thing, a motif that is seen throughout all of Egyptian history. And then we went inside Unis's pyramid, which again is really something special because, while from the top, it's just rubble, right? It's not a pyramid in the same way that the Great Pyramids or the Step Pyramids are, but it's just a pile of dirt pretty much. But then you go down and you go down this very narrow chamber and it's just amazing. And you get inside, and inside the walls are just covered in hieroglyphics. And so an interesting thing about Unis is that he was, I believe, the founder of the 5th dynasty. And he was the first pharaoh to actually have what is known as the pyramid texts in his pyramid. Inside Unis's pyramid is the very first example of the spells and the incantations that have become so famous and so associated with Egyptian history today. So that was really incredible. And then from there, we walked around the Step Pyramid complex. So the cool thing about the Step Pyramid, it's massive, first and foremost, but it's also in some ways bigger than even the Great Pyramid, because the space around it is one giant walled off temple. And getting to see these walls and this literally 4,000 year old complex that it looks brand new. And I know they've done a lot of restoration work and a lot of other things to keep it together, but it's just amazing to get to see the intricacies of the stonework. And then you get inside and there's this massive 4,000 year old structure, the very first pyramid, the first time that somebody had ever put hey, let's take these normal rectangular tombs that we have and let's just stack a bunch on top of each other because this guy is particularly important. The architect of the Step Pyramid, Imhotep, not the Imhotep from the 1999 cinematic masterpiece starring Rachel Weisz and Brendan Fraser, The Mummy. Shout out to my peep, Tippy. He designed this pyramid for the pharaoh Necropolis, and he was so revered in later Egyptian history that he was actually began to be worshipped as a deity. He was deified, a god of medicine. And that's just how significant this structure is. You can go inside. They kind of cut out a channel. It's not the channel that the body would have went down, but it's an interesting funerary corridor. And you just look down into this deep cavern. And you can see some of the original wood that was used 4,000 years ago. And then you also see the restorations and what they're doing now to preserve it. It's truly astonishing.
We just got out from being inside of the step pyramid. Lexi, how was it?
I mean, it was a hole. The hole can be beautiful. In this case, it's just it's a square
Hole down in the middle of the pyramid. Very cool. Very cool.
And in addition to that, there's also this portal, this like box containing a statue, a depiction of Djoser. And there's just a little hole. There's 2 little holes inside the box that you can like peep in, but it's not for people to look in and see the statue. It's for the statue to look out and survey what's happening around it. For ancient Egyptians, a depiction of the self in some essence was the self after death. Whether it's like the mask of Tutankhamun or the Fayum portraits, right? These depictions of the person in some way carry the soul of the person itself. Following the Great Pyramid of Djoser, we went out and went to this tomb of a noble. And you say tomb, but it's kind of like a mansion. It's just every like inch of this tomb was just filled with some of the most intricate and detailed and beautiful depictions of ancient Egyptian life and hieroglyphics that you can never even imagine.
This is amazing. This is a massive necropolis full of inscriptions and tombs and pyramids. You can see Giza north of you. You're at the step pyramid. You can see Darshur south of you with the bent pyramid and the red pyramid. I'm standing in a mastaba tomb right now, talking, and the only reason we're in here is to get some relief from the sun as we walk to another set of tombs. It's unreal being in a place like this. You could get lost in any of it, in the pyramid, in the architecture, in the courtyard, in the inscription bands, any of it. I'm just glad to be here with friends.
Inside this tomb is just these beautiful depictions of ancient Egyptian life and beautiful depictions of hieroglyphics. And it's just so fabulously complex. And I go back and I think there is literally every single thing that you can imagine on these walls. There are monkeys, there are bears, there are people having fights. There is just literally every single thing that you can see and imagine depicted on these walls. And these depictions, they've survived for thousands of years. These depictions are older than Christianity. These depictions are older than the Roman Empire. These depictions are older than old. And yet, here they are, still beautiful, still amazing, still intricate. And we're so lucky that we just get to go in and experience it. And there's not even like anybody telling you not to touch things. I mean, you don't touch them because you're paralyzed by the awe and the wonder and the respect you feel for the life that still sits in this stone.
We are in the Serapeum. The Serapeum is an underground burial temple for Apis bulls, which represented the god Ptah, who was the kind of champion god of Memphis, now Cairo. This place is huge. It's a massive, massive complex. There you go. There's Maria and Ethan, and of course Big Lexi.
Think about it. These balls have more significance and will remember longer than we will ever be. So just let that sink in.
This is awesome. That's so cool.
It's just amazing. It leaves me literally speechless. Saqqara is one of the most amazing places I have ever been. By far, I prefer it to the Great Giza Pyramid Plateau. The only thing that even comes close is Luxor, and while Luxor is much flashier, I feel like Saqqara has a far deeper soul. I am so lucky to have gotten to go with people that I care about so much. The entire time I go, I'll be thinking about how Brandon and Alex did this, or I'll be thinking about some of the wonderful, pleasant chats that I got to have in this beautiful scenario with wonderful people. And finally, on behalf of Brandon, much love.